Hey, come see us do live shows January 3rd in Los Angeles, Honolulu after that, Baltimore, Maryland, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So here's all you need to really know about the Syria conflict. The overthrow of the Syrian government by Israel, Turkey, the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. This is all you need to know because Muammar Gaddafi, a guy who they murdered because he wanted to start his own banking system, separate from the U.S. dollar and the euro. That's why they killed him. And they wanted to turn Libya into a failed state so they could take refugees from Africa and flood Western Europe. That's exactly what he thought he was safe because he was going to stop that kind of migration. They wanted it. So that was another point against him. So here he is giving a speech predicting exactly what has happened to Syria. Here we go. They're determined to remove Syria and Lebanon from the map. Why? So that Israel's borders are with Turkey.
Yeah.
That's right.
As God said.
I say these words, and you will see them achieved. If not in our era, then in our children's era. Well, it's being achieved right now.
The Greater Israel Project.
He's going to tell you they're going to break up. But unfortunately, it will happen. Syria and Lebanon, the plan is to remove them so that the borders of so-called Israel are with Turkey rather than with Arab countries.
Yeah.
The Israelis write about it. The balkanization of Arab countries, and balkanization means the splitting up.
Like was done to America, and like they want to do to
They
Russia.
thought they were going to be able to do that to Russia, balkanize Russia and split it up, and they couldn't. Meaning the balkanization of Egypt. The balkanization of Syria. Egypt is being mapped to become 4 states.
Yeah.
Syria will become 5 small states. A small Lebanon, a division of nations into states, communes, and cantons. This is an existing map, and the words are written. They've already mapped this out. This was mapped out in the 80s.
Wesley Clark told us about this.
And then there was the Project for a New American Century. And then you hear, which they said they're going to go into Syria, Libya, Lebanon, Somalia, Sudan, Iran, and Iraq.
Clean it out. That's
the last one on the list
language.
Now is Iran. And we're doing this at the behest of Israel because Israel
clean it out.
Controls our government.
Tony Clausen. We got to go clean it out.
The words are written. And so, of course, they had to murder that guy in the worst way possible. He was trying to set up a different kind of banking system. And so
I remember the Gaddafi Mad Dog propaganda thing I watched on Showtime about him. And it's funny, I was not on Gaddafi's side, but I was like, because they're talking about he had this preposterous idea to make his own currency for Africa. And how stupid and dumb of a plan that was. And this and that. And I was like, was that like a good plan? Why do you keep going on about it? It turns out it was bricks.
So here he is at an Arab League summit in 2008 in Damascus. And he's warning Assad that you're next. And turns out he was next. And then it was Assad. It went Saddam Hussein. It went him. Then Assad. Oh, they also overthrew Egypt's leader. They also did that.
That's right.
They also did that.
Fake spring. The fake Arab Spring.
The fake Arab Spring, which was all made up. It was all invented by the CIA.
In fact, I can't everything that of my entire life that I think about in that region turned out to be total horseshit.
Yes. So here, he says it here. Watch this. What is the reason for the invasion and destruction of Iraq? The killing of 1 million Iraqis. What is the reason? Let our American friends answer this question. Why Iraq? What is the reason? Is bin Laden Iraqi? No, he is not. Are those people who attacked New York Iraqis? No, they were not. Were those people who attacked the Pentagon Iraqis? No, they were not.
Yeah.
Where were the weapons of mass destruction? They were not there. Even if Iraq did have weapons of mass destruction, Pakistan, India, they all have nuclear bombs. So does China, Russia, Britain, France, America, and Israel. Should all these countries be destroyed? Fine, let's destroy all the countries that have weapons of mass destruction. Along comes a foreign power, occupies an Arab country, and hangs its leader. And hangs its president, talking about Saddam Hussein. And we all sit on the sidelines laughing.
Like Hillary after he died.
As if they're not next. Why didn't they investigate the hanging of Saddam Hussein? Meaning the Arab League. How can a POW be hanged? He was a prisoner of war, and they hanged him. How can a prisoner of war be hanged? A president of an Arab country and a member of the Arab League, no less.
Well, the
so
Iraqi
he's saying this to the Arab
Jimmy.
League.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the policies of Saddam Hussein or the disagreements we had with him. We all have political disagreements with Saddam Hussein. And we have such disagreements among ourselves here in the Arab League. We share nothing beyond this hall. And there's Assad laughing. There's Assad laughing. Why won't there be an investigation into the killing of Saddam Hussein? An entire Arab leadership was executed by hanging. I mean, the Arab leader of Iraq, they just executed them. An entire Arab leadership was executed. Yes, yet we sit on the sidelines. Why? Why didn't the Arab League do something about this? Any of you might be next. Well, it turns out he was next.
Yeah.
And then it was Assad. And they're laughing. And they're all laughing.
Well, because they're all helpless.
America fought alongside Saddam Hussein against Khomeini.
Right.
In Iran. He was their friend. Cheney was a friend of Saddam Hussein. They were all friends. Rumsfeld was a friend. They all went and took pictures with him and hugged him, gave him weapons.
Because Iran's bad.
Rumsfeld, the U.S. Defense Secretary at the time Iraq was destroyed, was Saddam Hussein's friend. A close friend of Saddam Hussein. Ultimately, they sold him out and they hanged him. Look, this guy's laughing. You are friends of America? Let's say, by the way, did you know what Henry Kissinger said? He said, it's bad to be an enemy of America, but to be a friend is absolutely deadly.
Huh. I mean, the guy...
That's what Henry Kissinger... You remember that, Kurt?
Yeah. The guy that was funny. You got to give him that.
You got to give him that. So here we go. You are friends of America? Let's say that we are, not you. But one of these days, America may hang us. And they did.
Yeah.
And here here's James Corbett to tell you exactly what is actually happening with Syria, why they're going after Lebanon and Syria. It's all about natural gas and it's all about oil.
That's why Al-Qaeda is in charge of Syria, and they did that prisoner unboxing on CNN.
Iran wanted to put a pipe, just so you know, and I covered this. Qatar and Saudi Arabia wanted to put a pipeline and go through Syria to sell that stuff, to sell oil and gas to Europe. Well, guess who else wanted to do that? Iran. Iran wanted to put a pipeline through Syria and sell it, and they couldn't have that. So watch this.
An article that was posted on globalresearch.ca in March of this year called Greater Israel.
So now this was from several years. I don't know exactly what year this video is from, but he's telling you exactly what... This was their plan. And then now they're fulfilling it.
Plan for the Middle East. And this talks about...
It's called the Oded Yinon Plan?
I don't know.
The Oded Yinon Plan.
Oded Yinon Plan. This is Greater Israel. See the part in gray? That's Greater Israel. It's going to cover half of Iraq. It's going to be in Syria, Lebanon, and
that goes
and
past
Egypt.
the river to the sea. That goes way past.
That past the river to the sea. This is the project for Greater Israel, and this has been on the book since the 80s.
Something that was developed in a document that was published in 1982 in the journal called Directions, that's published by the Department of Information for the World Zionist Organization. And this document was translated into English by the Association of Arab American University Graduates. So I will put the English translation in the links for the show notes for today's episode. So you can go and read this document for yourself directly. I think it's a very eye-opening document going back, again, well, actually 3 decades now.
First of all, how could you have a project for Greater Israel when the current Israel is so fantastic?
Yeah, it couldn't get any better. It keeps Jews safe.
The way they embrace different cultures and beliefs. The only way you can make it greater is to colonize Mars.
That's fair.
And everybody would weigh a third less.
And that would take care of the Ozempic thing.
Yep.
Israel's bigger foreign policy and its plans for basically breaking and carving up the Middle East in order to institute this Greater Israel idea. And it lays this out in some detail, but let's just take a look at just the operative part of this document, talking about what the Israeli plans for Syria was in this World Zionist Organization document. And it says, quote, "The dissolution of Syria and Iraq later on into ethnically or religiously unique areas, such as in Lebanon, is Israel's primary target on the Eastern Front in the long run, while the dissolution of the military power of those states serves as the primary short-term target. Syria will fall apart, in accordance with its ethnic and religious structure, into several states, such as in present-day Lebanon, so that there will be a Shiite Alawi state along its coast, a Sunni state in the Aleppo area, another Sunni state in Damascus, hostile to its northern neighbor, and the Druzes, who will set up a state, maybe even in our Golan, and certainly in the Hauran and in northern Jordan. This state of..."
So that's happening. They're balkanizing Syria right now, and they're dividing it up along Sunni, Shia, Alawites, the whole thing. Here we go.
Bears will be the guarantee for peace and security in the area in the long run, and that aim is already within our reach today. End quote. Yes, peace and security as defined by the Zionists of the Israel foreign policy planning community, i.e. peace and stability for Israel. And certainly it does absolutely play into Israel's interests to keep the Middle East area divided ethnically and religiously and get those different sects fighting with each other, because that obviously makes for the for the divide and conquer strategy that has been the go-to strategy for would-be imperialists and tyrants for millennia, and it certainly does serve Israel's foreign policy purposes to keep the Muslims fighting amongst each other along their religious and sectarian lines, rather than fighting against Israel. And that's exactly, lo and behold, what is happening in Syria, as we see the Sunni majority fighting against the Alawite sect, that the minority that has been in power under Assad and under his father for decades now in Syria. And it is interesting to see not only, of course, the native inhabitant Sunnis of Syria, but of course all the foreign-funded jihadists who are being shipped into the country, who are fueling this very conflict. And in fact, if people go back to my interviews on RT back at the very start of this Syrian uprising, back 2.5 years ago now, you'll see that I made this point specifically, that part of what this is all about is the destabilization of the Shia land bridge, the so-called land bridge that connects Iran all the way to its Hezbollah forces in Lebanon.
Do you see this? So this is the Shia land bridge from Iran through Iraq, through Lebanon, and they were going to put a pipeline.
Because it looks like that. It looks like a place
That's exactly what, yes.
The land bridge.
To its Hezbollah forces in Lebanon through that Shia land bridge that runs through Syria. But if that can be destabilized and the Shia Alawite sect minority that rules Syria can be replaced with a Sunni majority ruling over the country, then that would break up that link between Iran and Lebanon and would further destabilize and isolate Iran on the path towards committing, well, the ultimate strike on Iran. And this is something that can be seen in the policy planning documents of various think tanks, such as the now infamous Which Path to Persia document from the Brookings Institution, which Tony Cartolucci of Land Destroyer Report has written about so much. So there are definite geopolitical interests for Israel and its adjunct, the United States, in the Middle East, in keeping Syria divided against each other. And that is a very key part in what's taking place there in Syria. But that isn't all. Surprisingly enough for people in the United States, there are other factors in the Middle East other than the United States and Israel. And there are other players who are trying to become regional players in various different degrees as a result of this. And of course, in that regard, we have to look to some of Syria's neighbors and some of the other people in the region who are looking to step up, including Turkey and Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and how they all fit into this and what their part to play is in this Syrian drama. And as we start to expand the scope of this, of course, one of the things that, as always in these Middle Eastern conflicts, comes into play is the resource wars that is always at least part of what's going on. So let's take a look at one of the interesting developments in recent years that has really, I think, been one of the focal points for why it is so important to kick off the Syrian war now, and that is the prospect of an Iran-Iraq-Syria pipeline. Now, this is something that, in fact, has been on the table for a couple of years now, and just for more information on that, let's quickly turn to the Tehran Times from July 26th.
So that's really all you need to know. There's a lot more info. It's great. Everybody go watch the Corbett Report. But that's what's going on. And Gaddafi predicted it.
He knew they had for saying that because he had a stripy shirt on. I thought he might be a.
And that's why he got kicked off YouTube.
Oh.
And here's what it looks like. Greater Israel. So it's going to encompass Syria. It's going to encompass Lebanon. It's going to go right up to Turkey. It's going to have half of Iraq. It's going to be into Egypt, the Promised Land, Jordan. There it is.
Oh, the Promised Land.
I think that map is wrong. Where's America on that map? We definitely should be included. I mean, we paid for it.
Yeah.
This is their weekend crash pad and laundry service.
Not even bottom billing, Jimmy.
Not even. We should have a new Pledge of Allegiance. We should have. I pledge allegiance to the dual flags of Israel, and I mean the United States, and two of the republics for which we straddle, 2 nations under one God, easily divisible, with liberty and justice for Israel.
Well, not even. Not even. Remember they were going to overthrow the government because of Netanyahu. So, no one gets any justice. It's for no one. These are gangsters. I always forget how Saudis and Qatar are in on it too.
That's right. Because they're Sunni, right?
Yeah, they develop these crazy terrorists. Our friends. It's always our friends. These terrorists who are so anti-Semitic but never attack Israel. Only us. And then people we don't like.
So now you know the rest of the story. And again, this is stuff they're never going to tell you on CNN, the New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, Fox News. They're never going to tell you this.
They're going to do fake prisoner releases
and that's why
fake rockets.
And that's why the New York Times has to do hit pieces on YouTube News and Rumble. That's what this is all about, because we're telling the actual news that they won't tell because they're owned by the people they're supposed to be exposing.
Right.
And
those people are running out of content to hand the news people to repeat like parrots, and they're panicking and they're having to say stupider, like dumber stuff.
The NBC, CNN, Fox News, the New York Times, they're all owned by the people they're supposed to be investigating and exposing, which is why nobody trusts the mainstream news anymore. Well, some people do. I met them at a Hollywood party last night. They're fucking brain dead.
Well, remember Hillary? We played her saying we're going to lose total control.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's even a slip. That FCC Act that her and Bill, the co-presidents, put into effect to make sure that there's a bottleneck of information only coming through their approved sources, which is why they made everything a monopoly. The thing that was to make us balkanize, which is social media, the internet, is also backfiring on them. Because if you're fed up and want to know information, you can find it. It's actually not top secret. You can find all the information. It's just you have to be like, check more than one website and settle.
It's amazing when I go to a Hollywood party, which I don't go to many at all. I don't look forward to them. I went just as a favor to my friend.
Bring your own baby oil?
And the people know to come seek me out and ask me questions. Jimmy, well, aren't you afraid Bobby Kane's going to take away the vaccine? But they don't know to actually watch my show and look into it.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? They all talk about my show, but none of them actually watch it so they can actually get information.
I don't want to sit through it. I just want you to tell me the thing because I don't do my own research. I could get
That's right. We're not supposed to do our own research. That's bad. Hey, come see us do live shows January 3rd in Los Angeles, Honolulu after that, Baltimore, Maryland, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.